The 25-26 Premier League season is back in business, and Manchester United start the campaign with a disappointing 1-0 defeat to the Gunners. After I thought we bossed them at Old Trafford. Let's get into that match, sir. It was a disappointing game from United, but I think the new signings, Cunha and Mbeumo, had a blazing start. Very dangerous in that first half. They scored from a Bayern mistake off of a corner. They were only really dangerous from set pieces. But United, showing the challenges once again. We have challenges with the 6. Casemiro's legs went. Ugarte came in. He didn't look any good. And Bayern, once again, he's not good enough to be number 2, let alone number 1. So frustrating, but Mbeumo and Cunha looked excellent. And I think Dogu played well as well. Dalot probably man of the match. He fucking shut down Gyökeres. Very exciting back 3. 1-0 loss, but I'm encouraged.
Just brutal stuff to lose at home to the Gunners. It was there. They wet noodled it. I said, if you listen to the preview, they're going to show up with a dud. They did. We didn't take advantage of it. Look, it sucks. I want United to get a win. We've been dying for one, sir. Haven't scored a goal since the Europa League final in serious competition. Preseason went well. I felt like we had a chance to get them. They were there for the taking. Conservative 11 from Amorim. We saw what he was trying to do. The attack just not quite gelling. Dogu hit the post. Outstanding player preseason. He's coming good for United. I have a bad taste in my mouth. You can shine up. It's hard to shine up an L against Arsenal when they played bad, and we should have got all 3 points.
And we played better. We were definitely the better side, but at the end of the day, if you don't score goals, you don't win games. And we're still being dragged down by goalkeeping errors. We saw it last season between the 2 keepers, Bayern and Onana. They both had some howlers throughout last season. Onana more so, of course, because he was the de facto starter. He didn't even make the squad today. That was interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the team, a lot of things to build on. Like I said, the new boys look legit, including Benjamin Sesko, who came on late in the second half. I think the way we finished the game was closer to how United should be starting the next game against Fulham. We'll preview that game in a second. But Mbeumo and Cunha look real players. Cunha was making great runs throughout the middle of the pitch. They were finding sweeping balls from Casemiro out to Mbeumo out wide. He was super effective. A lot of good chances that way. So I think this attack is going to gel more and more, especially with Benjamin Sesko. We saw some of his pace on display today, sir. He was obviously playing against a tired back line by the time he came on, but his speed is rapid for a 6'5" unit like he is. So exciting moments, but like you said, they were there to be had. We should have gotten a win. We should have at least gotten a draw. But either way, it's encouraging because the fitness is getting higher. The passing's a little sharper. We know what areas we got to fix. It's number 6 and it's number 1.
No, look, it's clear. The keeper costing us the game. Ultimately, Bayern, was he fouled? Was he not? You got to be strong there. Keeper's asking for fouls. It's not a thing. You got to be strong. Protect your box. Who knows if a fit Onana could get there? But we're talking about Arsenal, and, I want to say they didn't look great. And they're going to build probably into a better season. And winning ugly is something United used to do. And maybe we didn't need to win ugly. We needed to maybe lose pretty. And that is encouraging signs for Ruben Amorim and the squad. But it's all about Fulham and getting the 3 points. Before we jump into the Arsenal match recap, we're going to be covering the Arsenal results, Fulham preview. We're going to discuss all the transfer rumors, Højlund being on the bench, as well as Onana getting dropped, Baleba. That deal is apparently done and dusted, or is it? We're going to break it all down here on this great podcast. Glad we're talking about playing for keeps because preseason is fun, but we want to get into the league, and we have, and it is a loss. Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0, Calafiori with the goal in the 13th minute from a set piece. The Arsenal fans are texting us, bragging about the win. I said set piece FC. That's my clapback for the Arsenal fans.
And that's what you got from open play. I think you're going to have a hard time winning the league this year once again. Obviously, like you said, great teams, they find a way to win even when they get outplayed. We used to do that all the time back in the day. But they got away with one because really it wasn't a set-piece goal. It was an error from Bayern. We had seen that a couple times from Onana last year. We need a number 1 who's confident in the box. That's so important these days because so many players, so many teams, I think, target goalkeepers if they can get one over. And they did again.
Raya had to deal with one on the other side of the pitch and did very well. Let's get into the starting 11 from the manager. Bayern net, Euro, Dalot, Shaw, back line. We had Dalot, right wing back, Casemiro, Bruno, midfield, Dogu at left wing back, Mbeumo, Mount, Cunha up front with Cunha playing striker, but obviously They would all be dropping into different pockets of space there. Sir, what do you make of the starting 11 from Ruben Amorim? Fans were a little disappointed online.
Yeah, I mean, so Onana doesn't even make the squad. That had some question marks. Bindier gets the go. Højlund nowhere to be found as well. His career at United looks to be over, especially for this season. Question marks. The back three, I had some concerns. I thought we would see Maguire. I didn't think we'd see Shaw and Dalot. Dalot as an anchor, I had some worries about that. Dalot instead of Ahmad, I thought we should have gone for it. Arsenal there to be had, especially early in the season before they get ahead of steam. I wanted to see his attack 8 to 10. And then the Mason Mount start, I didn't like. I was like, you got Benjamin Sesko. He's fit as fuck. He's ready to rock. Mount, I have to agree with you, John. It's like he's a good super sub. He's not quite the Mason Mount of 2021 when he won the Champions League final. So I think he comes off the bench. He's an impact player. But we ended the way I want us to start. But yeah, that was my concern with the 11. What did you think, sir, when you saw it?
I mean, the question I have is, what did Arsenal say when they saw this 11 and they didn't see Sesko there and they didn't see Ahmad on the wing? I think they felt a little relieved. But I would say, coming out, it looked much better in the first half. United controlled the ball. We were able to switch it out to Mbeumo. He was running at defenders. I felt like we were really taking it to Arsenal. So while the 11 might not have looked that strong, I felt like in practice we had great control in the first half. Other than that horrid moment in the 13th minute, sir, let's get into it. Calafiori, Bindier. Arsenal in front, quality of the ball. What about that goalkeeping there? And, he was handled. There was some physicality there. Is it a foul? Is it not? For me, that's cheeky. That's cheeky. You're seeing Bindier's arm get held a little bit, getting pushed in, Mount fouled. But if you're the team arguing for fouls on corners, you're losing because it goes in. It's a goal. If there's no foul called there, you're not going to get. VR is not going anywhere near this. So we can all slow it down. We can all take screenshots, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You need to score a goal. You're Manchester United, 200 million. Let's go.
A good goalkeeper makes it so the foul on the goalkeeper is obvious. You allow yourself to get muscled, but still get pushed off the ball and not new enough to actually stop the goal in the first place. So we've seen it from both of our goalkeepers, 1 and 2. Not Tom Heaton. He hasn't as many goes, but we've been so weak from these in-swinging corners. If you remember, Matheus Cunha scored against Onana from an in-swinging corner last season when he was still on Wolves. So super frustrating. They were definitely, I think they were pushing the edge of the rules. Arsenal were like, I don't think he was looking at the ball at one point when he was pushing into Bindier, but at the end of the day, bro, this is like, you can't be squabbling over the penalty in the second half or this in the first half. You got to go out and score goals and stop. Shit, dude, they didn't create nothing, and we gave up this.
No, that's really the issue, is United needed to score. And ultimately, getting into the key match moments, 30th minute, great driven shot from Dogu right off the post. I mean, this is what he's there for. He covered more yards than anyone on the pitch. Looks an absolute unit, so fit. 33rd, Cunha had a great dribble through the midfield. He was finding pockets of space down the left-hand side. He was dropping deep from the 9 roll and then making these big runs. Lame shot, but you're starting to see Cunha really come alive. A lot of people who were there in person were talking about how great he was. Obviously, if you're there at Old Trafford, it gives you a different view than the telly. But I thought he shined. In the 37th minute, he just went wide as well. So Cunha looking good. And Mbeumo finding areas of space to attack on the right wing. I feel like you're getting our best attacking players chances, and you just got to find that killer pass, that final shot. It wasn't there for United in the first half, but encouraging.
No, I mean, other than the goal we conceded, we really had a nice first half of football. Defensively, really strong from Dalot. He fucking dominated every area of ball that was coming to Gyökeres. I thought Euro, he was cleaning things up as well, shutting down Saka at times. And Shaw looking good in that last spot if he can stay fit. Dogu as well. So very encouraging. It's still a little bit herky-jerky in the final third because the players, I don't think they don't know how to play together quite yet, and they were pressing so hard. But Cunha and Mbeumo look like great side. I mean, you can already tell it's been one game, and they're gonna, as long as they stay fit, they're gonna be very, very productive Manchester United players because they know the league, and they're not just the only guy in the band anymore like they were on Wolves. There's other supporters around them.
Absolutely. Second half, we were waiting for the manager to change. We didn't really have the control that we did in the first half, and we weren't creating the chances. I was looking at Amorim, hey, we need a change. That change came with Ahmad coming off for Dalot. He looked great playing with Mbeumo on the right side, but they kind of collided in certain areas, or it was a little awkward where Mbeumo was playing the 1-2 and Ahmad wasn't necessarily ready for it. So they're going to figure that out. 65th, bringing on the big guns. I thought this was a little late from the manager. You're down 1-0. We were kind of a little bit of a lame duck in the first 20 minutes of the second half. But he brings in Sesko and Ugarte for Mount and Casemiro. Casemiro obviously probably doesn't have the legs to finish it out. What'd you make of these changes from the manager? Did they impact the game?
Yeah, I think they could have happened earlier. I think the Ahmad one definitely did. It kind of got gunked up, like you said, because Mbeumo and Ahmad were playing in the same position, kind of same space on the field, and they're still getting to know each other. Sesko and Ugarte, I think it makes sense on paper. I think Sesko's ready to rock. He finished with them. He's definitely not ready to play a full 90, maybe a 60, but I think have that impact late. He didn't get a lot of service. Ugarte, it made sense on paper, but he had a shit game once again. He looks way off and not the go-to for number 6, whereas like Casemiro in that first half, he was spraying passes. He was finding Mbeumo out wide. That's going to be something we have to deal with before this window closes.
We're going to talk about it. 68th minute, great take from Cunha to beat the press. He found Mbeumo well on the edge of the box, and him and Ahmad come together in that awkward, they were just too close to each other. Ahmad just, hey, I'm the right winger, but actually, no, you're the wing back. You got to give him some space. 69th minute, Mbeumo with a great scissor kick. This was close. And then another header from Mbeumo in the 73rd minute. If you look at the X threat, XG from Mbeumo was crazy. He was like by far our most dangerous attacker. 80th minute sub. Maguire came on for Shaw, probably fitness, but Maguire, looking good. 89th minute, heavy tackle to Cunha in the box. No penalty call, but probably it's fair. Again, you're.
It wasn't enough from
full Muppet.
Saliba.
It's a pen. It's a pen. It's a pen. You've seen that called as you've seen it called as a pen, but as just like a purist of football, that is not a penalty.
Right.
It's a coming together. It was a shade to a pen, I want to say, but you just can't. If the ref calls it, you're probably getting it. If he doesn't, you're not getting it overturned. That was it. United lose to Arsenal. 1-0. Arsenal played bad. Gyökeres didn't look great. He was all red. They were finding him. Sesko coming on.
Ooh.
Looked a player. Should have started, in my opinion. I understand what Amorim's doing, but the play well, no result is only going to take you so far, because now I feel like Fulham has a little more pressure for the dub, and that's an away game in London that won't be easy. And so, you can play well, but you need to get results at the end of the day. And I felt like United were so close, but just lacked that finishing touch in the final third.
And let's be honest. The worst thing about United last year is we'd actually on occasion turn up for some of the big games, at least parts of the games. We didn't always win them, but we were in them in a way that we weren't against the Fulhams and the Burnley. They weren't in the league, but even the promoted teams, sometimes we had trouble with the Ipswich Towns. So this is the big test. Arsenal, I would have loved to get a result. I'm excited that we did outplay them. At the end of the day, it's about getting a result, and we need to get results in London against Fulham and then against Burnley. Those are big games where we have to show, is this team for real? Well, if they are, they're going to beat those teams, because Arsenal was always a mountain to climb. We gave ourselves a chance. Things you need to work on. We'll get in the stats, sir. But it's about these next 2 games, because we got to be picking up points, because the games only get harder right around the corner from that.
Don't remind me. The stats don't lie, though. 22 shots to Arsenal's 9, which was the first time we've had 20 shots against Arsenal since our 8-2 win in August 2011. Bring those days back.
Come on, baby.
7 on target to their 3. 62% of the ball to their 38. But here's the thing. We could brag about the stats. The only stat that matters is that goose egg that United have. And we knew Arsenal, they're behind the 8 ball. They start slow. They were going to be slow. I felt like Sir Alex Ferguson just knew how to read it, and I just knew Arsenal would be a wet noodle, and you could put Ahmad and Sesko on and go for it, and it would have been there. And I just feel like Amorim flinched, he was playing like peak Arsenal, halfway through the season. We were getting like a preseason Arsenal. You could have went for it. We had the ball in dangerous areas. If you had the Sesko and the Ahmad threat, I just felt like you would have been a little better off. But regardless, a great performance from United that is going to be overshadowed by a goalkeeping error and a bunch of Arsenal fans that won nothing. texting us on the thread.
Hey, they're back. They're chipping at
They're
us.
back.
That's always a good sign.
But we're going to chip back with they created 0.29 XG from open play against Manchester United, which is not great. Again, last time we saw the game 1-1 at Old Trafford. Last season, they scored set piece. They're turning into, Stoke City, basically. There you go. Great photo. great photo. Tony Pulis, Arteta. Quick tactical teardown on the match against Arsenal for Manchester United. Look, we played. It's the 3-4-3, sir. But United were building up in the 3-2-3. We actually had Dogu hanging out wide up top with Mount and Mbeumo coming in with Dalot. So we actually built up in a 4-2-2, a 3-2-2-3. And what was interesting about this is actually Shaw, Bruno, and Mason Mount were able to drag the ball wide to the left-hand side during build-up, which we would then switch to Mbeumo. So Dalot would kind of drop deep, and Mbeumo would find the right wing spot because we're like, hey, he's going to be playing 10. How are we going to get him out on the right wing? Bam, we switched it. Bruno Fernandes had the highest X assist, and Mbeumo had the highest X threat and the XG for Manchester United, which came from this right-hand side. But unfortunately, we were not able to find Cunha at the back post. That pass from Mbeumo or a shot or the final product wasn't there for Manchester United. But it's encouraging to see how we're able to isolate different areas of the pitch. And then looking at Cunha, he would actually drop deep in this pocket of space in the same area that we were getting Mbeumo involved, and then he would run in behind. So I think the reason why he opted for Mount was the versatility in basically playing second fiddle to Cunha and Mbeumo and getting them on the ball. And I think that's why we didn't go with Sesko, because he's going to be the focal point of attack, and it's going to completely change how Manchester United play, where today we were effective getting Cunha on the ball on the left side of the midfield, having him make those runs, and then Mbeumo got to run on the opposite side of the pitch. But for me, the most exciting thing to see was Ahmad and Mbeumo, because Ahmad had 100% successful take-ons.
Unbelievable.
And he just needs to cut it back to Mbeumo for him to finish, and we're going to figure it out. So I think the highlight here is Amorim's idea is very clear. I think we have the talent up front to be able to penetrate and make these attacks. The attacking strategy is working. The build-up play worked against Arsenal's press. And so we're going to see Manchester United get much more effective in the final third. And that makes sense because when you add all these new ingredients to the stew, sir, you gotta give it some time to cook. You gotta give it some time to cook.
You do, because these are attacking players that are going to need time because we have a brand new front three. Obviously we didn't start Sesko in this game, but he will be the starter with Cunha and Mbeumo behind him, and you could see what they're trying to do. You missed his height in that first half because we were creating so many good chances, but we are not a big squad in that front when you have Mason Mount, Cunha, and Mbeumo with the average height of 5'9" or 10. So Sesko, his 6-foot size, his mobility, his fucking, the 4 feet jump lift that he can get off the ground, he's going to be a real threat. So the more time they have to gel, the better they're going to get. So very, very encouraging. But like I said, Mbeumo and Cunha were unbelievable today. Didn't get their goal, but they were so threatening, carrying the ball with intent, cutting through that midfield. It was encouraging. It was very, very exciting to see. I wanted to start bearing some fucking goals because we got to score goals.
And the manager has a plan, and that plan was working because I was wondering how he's going to be able to play to both players' strengths. And we saw the game plan do exactly that, as well as getting Bruno to be able to spray the ball with him and Casemiro and actually switch it to these just absolute lethal players. Let's hear what the manager had to say. Look, I think he was very defiant. He spoke truth about this match. Let's hear it.
Ruben, hi. Could you just talk us through the goal from your perspective? Because Bayern seemed to get trapped and then he couldn't get out.
I think you can watch the goal. I think it's allowed to do a lot of things in the corners. We need to do the same. But when you touch that way in the goalkeeper, he needs to use his hands to catch the ball, not to push players, or he chooses push players and let the ball pass. But again, it's the rules. If it's allowed, we need to do the same thing.
Are you saying that he should have acted differently in that
No.
moment?
I'm saying that or you choose to push a player or to get the ball in that moment. So he chooses to get the ball, but he's getting pushed, so he cannot defend himself. That is my feeling when I see the play. But again, you need to do the same.
Samuel, Ruben, did you give any consideration to starting Tom Heaton ahead of Altay? Because he's conceded a goal similar to that before.
Why?
I think a lot of people might argue that Tom's a better keeper than him, more experienced in the Premier League.
But he suffered a goal like this where?
Tottenham last season.
Without VAR. With VAR is Yeah, it's a foul. And then what happened in the next game?
Okay, may I ask?
When
I mean, Amorim just clapping back.
Good, bro.
Clap it like
Luckhurst,
with
come
VAR.
on.
With like, hey, good
knows-
memory. Like he's like,
gotta win, bro.
I'll tell you, he's thinking about all those goals going in with the keepers, having nightmares. He knows exactly what's going on. Look, it's defiant from Amorim. I think he can be. This is a great performance. So we talked about it tactically, his plan. We imposed our will on Arsenal. They came to our house. We just lacked that finishing, that finishing move, sir, that we need to do to put them to the sword. But let's recap Arsenal. We got the last word, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sir, give us the good about the Arsenal match, and I'll give you the bad.
I'll do the good, you do the bad. That's a roll. That's great. Good, I'm going to go. Cunha and Mbeumo shined on their debut as they look perfect fits for Manchester United. You know, they were a threat throughout, and they will only get better playing together, especially when you bring in Benjamin Sesko. Back three of Dalot, Shaw, and Euro was very effective, and Dalot especially had a terrific game. Dorgu once again a standout. I think he is going to just grow and grow. Such a young player, but also looks tailor-made for this system and the EPL, given his physicality and his pace. And last but not least is I cannot wait to see more of Benjamin Sesko because he's the real deal. He needs time, he needs support, but his pace and his height are going to be lethal once he learns to link up with his team. We saw a run off the ball, maybe 75th minute, and his speed is so deceptive because he's a big fucking lad. This guy ain't dusted him.
I ain't beating him.
Nobody listens to this pod is dusted him because he's got real speed, like real EPL
acceleration,
differential.
Top speed.
Yeah, he's a big lad, dude. The fact that he can, so give me the bad. That was the good.
The freak.
Encouraging. The signings looking good.
By the way, Dalot man of the match. That's
without a doubt.
That's one of the best Manchester United performances. Wearing the shirt, putting it all on the line that I've seen in a long, long time. And then we need more. The fact that you're seeing some of that and this manager can get it out of these players.
I've never seen him play like that, bro. He's never played like that. United.
That was brave. That was like put it all, every tackle going in, like
I know,
like Vidic, like that's what United is all about, sir. The bad goalie, it's a problem. This whole Onana playing, Bayandier's good, like. Come on, like Tom Heaton's on the bench, but he's a vibes guy who now is going to be a backup. What's going on? We knew Onana was injured a long time ago. We've seen the film on him for 2 years. He got Erik ten Hag sacked, basically. Karius had one bad game for the Scouse Bastards. They got rid of him. How are they doing? Why is this guy still around? Why is Bayandir still around? We've seen enough tape on these guys to know that they are going to cost us points. Bayandir cost us points today, and if Onana comes back, he'll cost us points tomorrow. I wish it wasn't the case. I like Onana, but I wish Bayandir could step starting number one at Manchester United could be yours, but every time he gets there, it's errors. And so if Onana's making errors and Bayandir's making errors, you got to move on, and United need to sign a keeper. That's like something we have to do. I feel very strongly about this. And then the second would be the midfield. Casemiro, if it was 3 years ago, he'd be the general. He'd be running things. But Baleba, we need to get another number 6, and the attack has to gel. So I do think that the bad is Ineos can fix it in 2 weeks. So let's go for somebody in the transfer market and fix the goalie and CDM positions.
You already got 3 in. I mean, I think they made real inroads to fixing, at least in the near term, without Europe, their attack, and it's only going to get better and better. Now you know what you need to do next. You need a fucking goal. You need number 6. You get 2. Baleba is like a fucking grand slam, but you get 2 workable players that can compete in the league, and
he's worth whatever they want.
No, pay whatever. He's worth 120.
For the record, we'll get to it later.
He's a fucking player.
But he's worth it. Let's get into the Fulham preview. I feel like Fulham versus Manchester United Sunday, August 24th, 8:30 a.m. This is going to be on the USA Network. If you're based in the United States, it's Craven Cottage. It's a must-win. We need 3 points. Back against the wall. Manchester United, we never die, sir. How are we feeling? Fulham away after that Arsenal match.
It's one of my favorite stadiums in the world. It's probably my favorite stadium in London for sure. Craven Cottage, sir. It's going to be a nice day. You know, low 70s, a little bit of rain, but we've been there a number of times, especially as away fans. And it's a big test for United. Fulham, they're a tricky side. They've been up in the league for a bit. Let's get into their history. Founded in 1879. They're the oldest professional club in London. And they have spent much of their history bounced around between divisions. Obviously, Craven Cottage on the banks of the Thames is one of the most iconic grounds in the game. They used to bounce around quite a bit. They're kind of famous for that, from a promotion to relegation and up and down. But they've spent 5 successive seasons, changing divisions between 17 and 22, and then they were relegated after winning the 2018 and 2020 EFL championships, winning the 21-22 EFL championship. They got promoted, and they've been up in the EPL since. They finished 11th last season.
Yeah, we saw them in the championship there play against Ipswich with Mick McCarty as manager. We got great seats, and we saw Manchester United always at the wheel away. It's a great stadium right in London. So have some dark ales in the sun by the river. They've also redone it. We haven't been there since. And for all the American fans who are wondering why it's called Craven Cottage, there actually is a cottage inside of it that actually the owners watch the game. It's very bizarre.
Amazing.
Can't relate to it with our soulless giant mega screens here in the United States.
Nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the States.
Last season, Fulham finished 11th in the Premier League, above us. And we remember they knocked us out of the FA Cup.
And we were there to watch them
Craven
beat
Cottage.
us against when we were under Ten Hag. And that was not great.
I forgot about it. It will be just like putting us to the sword. We almost missed the train. Yeah. Great times. Fulham, they're not going to be messing around. Sir, tell us about Marco Silva, the manager for Fulham, who's been able to kind of steady the ship for them.
They got their own Portuguese manager, 48-year-old Silva, part of the new generation of Portuguese tacticians. He had modest playing days as a right back, transitioned quickly into coaching. He made his name at Estoril, and then later managing at Sporting, which of course we know a manager who manages Sporting, Olympiacos, Hull City. He did like the run around in championship football, Hull City, Watford, and Everton before joining Fulham in 2021, and it's been very successful. I think his tenure, he has proven himself to be a top manager because he's been frisky throughout. How do they like to play? They like an organized 4-2-3-1 foundation, usually setting it up with a double pivot to protect the back four, while wide players stretch the pitch, and the number 10, of course, links play. They're compact and combative. We've seen that. We've seen that every time we play them out of possession. They like to drop into a disciplined block with aggressive pressing triggers, winning the ball up high, and then they're very direct and efficient in their counters and their transition. So also, they're a good set-piece team like Arsenal, something we have to keep an eye on. The goalie's going to be targeted. Fucking Ruben Amorim mentioned it in his press conference. He's like, hey, this is a thing now. We have seen it. We've seen it with other clubs. Arsenal have done a shit ton of this, of like voodoo arts with the goalie. He's like, we got to start doing it. And you know what? If they're not going to call it, we should start doing it. So keep an eye on that for set pieces if Fulham's trying to target whoever's starting, which could be Bayindir.
Yeah, you got to watch out for Iwobi, who, tends to boss the midfield, did well against Brighton, and also Anthony Robinson, U.S. men's national team. Watch there. Lifetime versus Fulham, we've won 58, drawn 20, lost 16, sir. The last 5 against Fulham, won 3, lost 2. Like I said, we got bounced in the FA Cup on penalties in March at the Cottage. That is the last time we played there.
John and I were lucky enough to see the only loss in the league since 2009, which is pretty impressive. We've had a pretty good record.
No, it was like
Fulham.
1-1. We were fighting back to win it, and we threw the kitchen sink, and then that Iwobi goal. Oh, man, it was bad. Regardless, Fulham last 11, 4-2-3-1. You got to watch out for Iwobi, like I mentioned, and Raul Jimenez up front. The Muniz was the spoiler against Brighton at the death. I thought Brighton had dominated, but Fulham was a scrappy side, and they scored a late winner, so the vibes are good. The late drawing goal, so the vibes are going to be high, and they're going to be ready to play at home against Manchester United. I feel like we don't want this Arsenal, hey, we didn't win, but we played well to go to our heads.
Yeah,
we got to be thirsty for a dub here, and we got to come in and play well. We do have time to rest, but at the end of the day, this is going to be a tough fixture. And referees aren't determined yet for match week 2, but we'll keep you posted on that front. Hopefully we don't have any shenanigans there. For Manchester United, starting 11, we talked about it. From Arsenal, what adjustments would you make from how Amorim picked it?
So just reminding folks where we lined up for the Arsenal game. If you're not watching on YouTube, Bayindir was in net. It was Euro, Dalot, Shaw as the back 3. Dalot and Dogu were the wing backs. Casemiro and Bruno in the holding 2. And Mbeumo, Mount, and Cunha as the front 3. Now, I'd make 3 changes. I would put Onana in net. He's our keeper until he's not.
He only had 3 training sessions, apparently.
That's apparently why he didn't play. It wasn't because...
So your bold I'm going chops.
You're going back to chops?
I just if Onana's not ready, he's not ready. We also don't know the full story there. I feel like I feel
like there's something there. I feel like there's something
could be a little spin.
But anyway, I'm going with Andre Onana. He is our number one. He's who I'm going with. Dalot, he gets hooked for Ahmad, and then I'm putting Benjamin Sesko for Mason Mount. So you play our new front three and fucking go for it. It is Fulham. This is the 11 that you should have done when you went, maybe minus by the goalkeeper change. But those two outfield players should have probably started against Arsenal. I think they would have had an impact. That's what I'm going for. What are you thinking, sir?
Yeah, I'm not going to go as much FIFA. I'm going to keep Dalot there. I like the option with Ahmad coming off the bench, and I'm probably going to put Sesko on for Cunha because I thought Mount worked out well with the versatility, and then you could imagine Mount floating one of those crosses far post. I just feel like Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko is a little kitchen sinky, and you want options on the bench to change the game. So I would, and we also have the midweek with Grimsby Town. You got to be thinking about following Fulham. So at the end of the day, I'm going to probably rotate a little more and bench Cunha for Sesko, as controversial as that is.
Hey, it's a big match, like you said. It's everyone, we knew we'd get up. I had no doubt we're not going to get rolled by Arsenal. So this game is really tough. Fulham are a much more formidable side at the Cottage than they were back in the day, way back in the day when they used to be an easy win. Obviously, our record has been quite good, but we saw a loss. We know how dangerous they can be. And they're direct. And when we've been vulnerable, we've been caught out, obviously on set pieces where they're good and on the counter where they're also good.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to who can get it behind, right? They have Iwobi and, like I said, Robinson and Mbeumo and Dalot. If they can exploit that space, that'd be critical in the match. So, look, we got to play our game, and let's get Sesko on the score sheet. Booking the bookie, sir. What do we got for odds?
Sorry, it's been a while since United have been the favorites, but here we are. Plus 210 for Fulham at home, plus 240 for the draw, and plus 125 for United to win. Sir, you're up first. Score prediction time. We both got a big old donut. Neither of us got it right. Of course, we both called the win. United did not win. Love the website. Looks super slick. Everybody involved, enjoying it. It's going to get very, very exciting as the games roll into the season. So give me your prediction for Fulham versus United next weekend.
Well, first, everybody check out www.mufcpredict.com. We turned our match prediction into a game that you can play. And the real interesting part about it is all the fans all the aggregate predictions are put on the front page. So you can see 88% of fans think we're going to win against Fulham. It was 53, I think, that thought we'd win versus Arsenal. That ended up getting cooked there. The average score right now is 1.9 goals for United to 0.6 for Fulham. 6% loss, 6% draw. The community thinks we're going to win. Is there a game the community thinks we're not going to win?
No.
But checking on the leaderboard, we got to go here. There were, I would think, 15 fans who predicted the loss versus Arsenal. You guys are very bold and featured here. Alex and I will make our predictions here. I haven't really thought about it. We're 0% correct. We both got it wrong here. And I'm going to go for Manchester United 1, Fulham 1. I'm going draw here. What do you got?
I'm going Manchester United 2, Fulham 0. First clean sheet for the Chops, and United gets a nice victory on the road. Hopium is back on the menu, boys. Let's rock and roll.
I think Fulham's going to be harder than we think.
They are.
This will be another good.
That was a big test.
Not the best result, but good performance from Manchester United.
1-1.
It's hard to
hard
put
done.
It all,
couldn't finish.
Hard to put it all together. Prediction game behind us. Let's talk transfers. We're talking Baleba. Apparently, it's over before it even began. Manchester United fans basically hearts breaking all across the internet.
Goddamn.
From Simon Stone, from Ornstein, tier ones pouring ice cold water. Manchester United and interest in Brighton's Baleba. Apparently, he was keen for it. Brighton saying, we're not selling him, or at least saying it would have to take something that you're not even willing to pay to get him. And it's over before it started. I felt like a million voices cried out in agony when the tweet dropped from Ornstein that this was over. Brutal. United kind of catching mud. Why would you be briefing everyone and getting excited behind the scenes? I felt like the reason why the Sesko move happened is because we were getting briefed that he was interested and it was kind of heating up. And then all of a sudden, I, for one, don't believe the tier ones are telling you what the clubs want you to hear. And I feel like Brighton.
I don't think it's dead yet.
Exactly. So United wants it out that it's over.
Right.
And so that could be a negotiating ploy. So being a tier one is just you're telling people
You're a mouthpiece.
the club what the club wants you to say. And that's the only reason why they're telling you anything, which is kind of strange. So it's actually not like impartial. It's just literally like I will say whatever narrative I will spin whatever narrative they want. So do United want to like pretend to go away? Because it'd be pretty bold for United to offer more than 100 million and for Brighton to say no. I think that's kind of crazy to just be like that confident that you could get more than 100+ million for Baleba. He's a good young prospect, but is that like Isak is the player and he's 150. Like if you think about it, 27 best in the world, that's 150 million. So like 22 best prospect in the world. Can that be 100? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, the pricing of this player.
Well, they're looking at Moise Caicedo, who's probably slightly ahead of where Baleba is. He was slightly ahead, but he went for 115 million pounds. Apparently, that is the range of, sums of money that Brighton is looking for on this deal. I have to agree. I think, like, for a 21-year-old who is excellent, he has been terrific for them. He's got probably the highest ceiling of anyone in that position in the under-23s. 100 million. I feel like you would turn their head at 100 million. I feel like the way that United went about this made it seem like they had followed the playbook of all the 3 big transfers that came before it this summer in terms of how Ineos likes to do it. They go one at a time, they get the player on board, and then they also like brief the, hey, United is very much interested, maybe to put pressure on the club. But I think a player like him, 100 million, bro. 100 million is worth it all day because you look at this team. I watched him play against Fulham. He is the real fucking deal. And I know that's only Fulham, but you put him next to Bruno Fernandes with those players behind him, and that like front 3 that was on the fucking front toe the whole game, just like also bailing out the midfield. He would be lights out, game changer, and worth 100 million because he can be the difference between top 5, which is Champions League football, 100 million pounds, and maybe making Europa League because like he's that good.
No, he's worth whatever they want. I hate to say it.
115 million
to Manchester United, to this team is like Ineos has done a good job of doing some big deals and getting like EPL proven talent. And now we're like, okay, wow, we have like some solid attacking EPL proven talent. They're there. Okay, now we need to get like the best young and upcoming like central midfield player who can change the game for Manchester United, like unlock everything on the pitch for us. Because Casemiro's over the hill. You saw it today. You saw Ugarte come on and give the ball away. It's like you have to move on. You got to make big, bold moves if you want to push up the table. And I feel like Baleba can get you Champions League football. It's worth the 100 million. My suspicion is I think United will pay 100 million, but we want to structure it in a way that Brighton is not interested in. They want the money today. United want to do some 6-year payment plan, 0% APR, no money down. Like that's like, and I think that's why the deal died is because Brighton's like, hey, we're not even going to entertain that because next year we can just get Liverpool, City, or some other club or Real Madrid to pay like full cash. And I feel like that's why there's no deal. It's because Brighton's not interested in structuring some big money transaction.
Then you overpay for him. You try and be creative and be like, all right, well, the fee is 100 up front. I'll give you 125 and then work with us on installments because that, dude, 100, you pay that back with 1 year of Champions League football. And
but what do they have to lose? Like, I don't understand. It's like,
they have the track record. They have an unbelievable track record of turning these deals around and selling play. I mean, how many clubs have sold multiple players in midfield for over 100 million pounds?
Yeah,
They've
but you're like, I just feel like you got a big club. The player's young.
We need the player to fucking push for it. That would be the difference maker.
Dude, I can't. This is brinksmanship at the highest level. Be like,
100 million.
Brighton, this could go horrible.
He could
for
blow
Brighton.
his knee out, bro.
Exactly. I just can't believe that they're just going to roll the dice on 100 mil. Like it's no thing. And it's not like he's going to get him Champions League, So it just becomes like you're talking about Champions League revenue, either side of the equation. And it's like, this kid isn't going to get you the 100 million. You're going to sell him next year. Are you going to get that much more? Plus you have the risk you have to take on. And plus the wage differential, if they bump his deal,
it's probably the
tough
installments.
for United.
It's probably the installments. You're probably right. It probably like we wanted to go, 1/5 over 5 years.
This is
and they're
brutal.
like, we want half now, half in a year.
It's not over. It's not like I'm full Muppet on this one because if
He'd be so good. He'd be so good. He's an
United
unbelievable
need to
player.
go again.
I know. We're close, dude.
We can't do this like incomplete team. You can't do it.
We've been doing it for years. We've been doing it for years.
Because you can't.
Almost
The
a
thing
decade.
about this is like he's the right guy, and we know it, and the manager wants him, and then we're gonna like you cannot leave this up to next year because it's even a bigger of a racket right next year. Then you can't sign someone this year because you're holding the spot for him. It's like a Sancho 2-year saga that doesn't work.
Yep.
It's now or never. United season on the line. We can make something of it with a player like this. You're talking about the plan Bs from Crystal Palace. I'm good. You can't be spending 70, 80 on like
Wharton's
plan
a great
Bs.
player, but this guy's it.
Come on.
He's it. Dude.
Come
He's
on.
it.
You
He's
know,
it. No,
like-
he's it, dude. He's it.
You
Wharton's excellent. He's a very good footballer, but he won't be cheap either. They're not going to give
no,
him.
but it's 70, 80, and then you're like, why don't I get the real?
No, then
thing?
you won't get him
So
next
that's,
year.
It's
Also, you have a chance to
heartbreak.
get him. No one else is in for him right now. He's a player that, like, dude, if he
Santa
keeps
brought
going,
us
he could be
coal.
150. He could be. And they've done good thus far, but they need to go all the way. Fuck it. You already
I'm
maxed
hard,
out. You've already
sir.
maxed out mom and dad's credit card, bro. Like, put money on the mortgage. Like, double down, bro. Second mortgage. Just keep going. Fuck it. Go.
They like. It is worth the price.
Spent
to pay.
$85 million on
And
Anthony.
I'm
Give
not-
him 100 fucking million.
I'm not I just look at this team today and look at Casemiro and be like, what do we need? Now, the thing is, he can't pass it like Casemiro. He's a different
what
type
a
of
player.
player, right? So like,
He's got the legs.
He's not. Yeah, exactly. He's got the work rate. He's got the energy. I just feel like this is the type of signing we need to make. The fact that we're not going to do it begs a lot of questions about the front office and how we got here, where we're like almost there, but we can't punch through the final test to get the keeper, to get the midfielder, and then go again with. You can't just keep writing off seasons. How many seasons have we written off? And we're always looking for that next player, the next player, the next player. And I really feel something special about Amorim and giving him the ammo to really run this thing and go for it, because if he gets caught out with Casemiro and an injury and there's Ugarte and we're getting cooked, and it's like that, you can't. This is the fate of the manager, the fate of Manchester United. We can't be messing around with it.
And you said Collier on loan up, that he was the guy. He
Great point.
he needs a full season champion. I'm actually very excited about his loan to West Brom that got announced in the last few days. That is a good move for him. He needs 30 games a season of just full on playing. But at the same time, we are thin in that position. Obviously, we don't have Europe, but Casemiro can get injured, and Ugarte it hasn't worked out thus far, and it's a bummer it hasn't. But like, you got to go all the way. He's the guy to get. Go get him now.
Speaking of,
He's
go
not
get
the
him.
guy. He's not the guy.
Rasmus Højlund is set to be left out of the Manchester United squad. We saw today he got dropped. Laurie Whitwell dropped the bomba. Højlund being forced out. The new goatee, no bueno.
They don't like
Had
it.
to watch it from the sidelines. Interesting move for Manchester United. We're talking like we only need to sign 2 more players, and we're basically set on having a solid season, maybe even fighting for Champions League football. And it feels like now we're pushing out more players. We already have the bomb squad. Feel bad for Højlund here, because should we really be dropping him? If there was a deal imminent, maybe you drop him, but I keep him on the bench because I want to keep him involved. I don't want to freeze him out and then not get a good deal. We haven't heard anything about a solid offer from Italy. So this is a strange one.
Yeah, and it feels like we're running back, not the same situation, of course, but Garnacho again, where we're kind of like spoiling him on the open market, lowering his fee because of how we're treating it. And at the same time, dude, we only have, what went wrong with Højlund? He didn't have anyone behind him that we could rotate with, so he had to play every fucking game. Benjamin Šeško, you're going to put him in the same position. Obviously, we don't have Europe, but right behind him is what, Cheeto Obi? Xerxes he's a 10, he's not a number 9. I think he would be great backup. The only way I could justify this is if we get a deal, like actually someone pays us, and it's not just an option to buy, which is them just riding all the upside and us getting none of it, is if you were going to parlay that into Baleba. If you're like, hey, we can get 40 million or 35 million for him.
No, it's the only thing that makes sense.
That's the only thing, because then it's like, oh, fuck it, we'll give it.
Or if there's a deal imminent, but just to be like, hey, you're surplus, we don't want you here.
That's crazy.
The moves that we're making, like, here's the thing. We signed 3 good players. That's not a strategy. That's like Glazer, and that's the Glazer playbook. It's like sign red meat, run it back with an incomplete team. Piss people off you don't need to.
2 weeks left.
There's some moves that we're making here that are a little weird because he's a young player.
He's 22,
and to
dude.
basically ship him and be like, you're out when you don't need to. Like, you don't need to ship him out. Like, we don't need to do this. If someone doesn't offer us good money, we don't need to tell them your surplus requiremements. Like, the only situation if like we have to sell people for Baleba, but if that's not the case, or there's not an imminent deal, which I'm sure we're going to hear more about this, but this is kind of perplexing to do this all of a sudden. He's been featuring in preseason, talked about fighting for his position. We've heard rumors of a deal, but it hasn't really come through. Look at him on the sideline. He's not happy. You're just pissing off a player that's on your books for $70 million. And are you going to get an offer? And by the way, the best offer we got is like a loan to buy situation, which is not really treated Manchester United well. So it's just kind of a strange one to basically freeze him out a little bit.
Especially in a position where Light in, and given his age, it's like, there still could be a player there, especially if he's the number 2 guy. I think Sesko would bring out the best in him. And you don't leave yourself with a lot of options. 2 weeks left in the window, bro. We haven't sold any of the bomb squad. We've gotten Rashford out. That's it. And you're just adding more fucking players to the bomb squad.
You mean he's at Barcelona with an option for them to pay us money.
Option.
But like we got rid of his wages, but like we're
not
not
even
really
we haven't sold
doing
anybody.
well.
We haven't sold
selling.
anybody, bro.
We're not like we are an F in the selling category, and then we're adding more work for us to do here and pissing Højlund off. Look, I haven't rated him as the lead man for United. I didn't like the valuation that we paid for him, but like this type of treatment, I just think with young players, if he comes back from loan or anything, you're just kind of disenfranchising them a little bit, and they're young and they're going to be jaded. They're not like old dog professionals who can handle it. So I just really feel for like the mental and motivation side, if he does end up staying, that this could hurt Højlund. Next, we're talking Onana. Oh no, Onana. He was dropped from the team against Arsenal. We didn't hear about this in the preseason. Obviously, he had an injury. We heard he was going to be back for the Arsenal game. And then all of a sudden, he's not back. Then all of a sudden, he's not even on the bench. Then all of a sudden, the manager's coming out with statements like, oh, no. Onana's still good, but I picked the 2 better keepers ahead of him because he didn't train a lot. This doesn't make any sense. When we talk about making a meal of it, it's like the ostracizing Højlund for no reason. Then you got the Onana. Why isn't Onana on the bench? Like that doesn't make sense. Amorim can explain it away. We'll get into what he said, but this is just a bizarre one. So I'm thinking there might be some smoke as far as him going or us signing a new keeper. But regardless, just a strange move from the manager.
Especially because, how often do you have to switch goalkeepers in a match? It is very, very rare. It does
and he could do it, though.
No, that's what I'm saying, but it does not happen. I understand the argument of not starting Onana in the first game. If he hasn't had the preseason, he hasn't had the minutes, but not even put him on the bench for a position that almost never has to have a substitute is strange, because he's your guy. We spent 50 fucking million on him. He's the guy for now. Maybe there's something going on, but the United has enough job.
It happened today, sir.
Work to
it's
do
not like he had a pre-match presser. Like, come on, like
get to the quote.
No, I'm just but I'm saying like there's a pre-match presser before the game. He did not talk about this. Then all of a sudden, day of, like, see ya.
Maybe the Saudis are sniffing.
No, here we go. Here's Amorim.
Is he defensive?
I'm not buying this.
No. I didn't drop on Onana from the squad. I didn't drop one of the other 2 from the squad. So it's not the case of dropping Onana. It's not putting Andre Onana with just 1 week without seeing a game, without time with training.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah, very convincing.
No. I did not drop Onana.
So fired up, boy. What's going on? You selling him?
Come on. Like, he did not say anything about this. If he was injured and he wasn't ready to start, he'd be like, oh, Onana's injured still. He's not ready to play. You would have gotten that before Arsenal. Just like you got the Sesko is ready to play quote from the manager in the pregame presser. You got nothing. Then all of a sudden today, he's out. Not even on the bench. Just dropped. You think Onana's happy about that? Probably not. So something's going on. This is the tea leaves. You got to read the tea leaves. Like, Amorim's got to say what he's got to say, but I think there's something going on with Onana. I think it could be there could be a move. It could be up for grabs. He could be disenfranchised, that they might be going for a keeper all of a sudden now. However they're dealing with it, it's similar like the CDM where we're loaning out Coyer. We don't have a new guy. it's the same thing with Onana getting dropped without having somebody else, and Højlund out of nowhere.
Our backup's out, bro.
We're adding more work that we need to do, and there's not much time left to the transfer window, and I'm just a little concerned. It feels like for every good decision we make, we're just kind of doing these bizarre moves, and it's front office, it's the manager probably backing up the front office and selecting the team and all of this. So it's a little strange. I just have a lot of questions, and I'm sure it's all going to settle, and then Onana will be back in the team. All of a sudden, everything will be all right. But I'm not buying this 100%.
It might just be the last 2 weeks of the window angst where they're trying to keep their options open. I think this is a parallel to how they've treated Højlund, which is like the freeze out, But even in the lead up to the presser around Højlund, he's like, he's our player. He still has a role to play, and then he's not even in the fucking squad. So this is the same thing. Maybe they're trying to keep their options
feels
on.
rash.
Maybe
It
there are
feels
deals,
rash.
but it feels like we're a little. They've been rash. Ineos
They've been
a little
like
they've
all
been a
over the
little herky
shop.
jerky, bro. On the buy side, we've been quite effective. I've been very impressed with the signings we made and the value, but like the sell side, we're way off it. And the way we played the sales, the way we handled the Garnacho sale has not been effective.
This is why you don't chew up 2.5. You don't chew up 45 days on one deal, dude. Like I feel like
and pay what they basically pay what they
we
wanted them to pay.
started slow, and then we're like, oh, we're actually good at this, and then they got like. I feel like if I had to call it today, it was they were hot on Baleba, and then now they're pivoting to goalie. They were literally like good to get Baleba, and they're like, okay, we're not doing that. Amorim, can you make this work?
Brighton won't work
and
with us
he's
on
like,
fee.
yeah. So he's like, and then he's like, Amorim, do you want us to go for Plan B, CDM, or goalkeeper? And Amorim basically said goalkeeper. Now we're doing goalie. I just feel like something happened. That's why all these moves, or there could be a second bid launch for Baleba, but that's not going to happen because Chelsea's playing to the end. All these Batiste is playing to the end. Everyone's playing to the end. They're going to get all these players on the cheap. They know it. United we're sitting there bleeding out. We're going to be stuck with an incomplete team. We're going to have Onana in net. We're going to have Cass, Ugarte, and we're going to have to just like survive. And why would you do that to this man? You had more time. You could have done it in a different way. And I just feel like there's an order of operations that we're just a little discombobulated.
I think we'll get one in.
If you don't get a CDM,
I think we'll get a goalie.
You cannot loan out Coyer. You cannot loan him out. You can't loan him out if you're not going to bring somebody in. And I just feel like that's just bad DOF. Director of football has to be on top of that.
There was a lot of wood to chop. The sales. I think the sales have dragged and haven't really happened. Have fucking shot us in the foot. A lot of work to do. One position addressed, right, or one area of the field addressed in the attack. But you got to fix one of these two positions. You got to either have like a goalie that can come in and be the guy, or at least a sixth project that can like fucking push Casemiro and Ugarte out of the way. But can't leave both holes open, or then we're going to be in trouble once again. This doesn't have to be the season we push for top 5, but it could be if you fill those last
top
2
5
spots. And that's it now. It's Champions League.
Top 5. You don't even need to be 4th. You can be 5th.
Amazing.
We used to win it, sir. We used to win it.
We used to win it. We finished 15th place.
We used to win. I got the shirt that says 3 in a row on the pod book. 3 in a row, bro. It's like
Champions.
07, 08, 09. Let's go. Come on. We need some of that. And we need some juice. Give the manager some juice. Come on. Let's
go. All in.
We need to be a little more.
$1.25 for Baleba. Structured. Why not?
We got to be like Dalot making those challenges. Fan questions. We're back, baby. We're watching real football. It's nice when the teams are playing for keeps. We haven't even like warmed up yet. I know. Which is
throw right into it.
At Gray Internet, quote, we weren't humiliated and showed some promise, but these are games we have to get something from. That stat sheet, the missed pen, etc. It doesn't matter. Abundantly clear, a goalkeeper is a must. We agree.
The midfield made it work.
It was clear since last season. It was clear in the Europa League final. Goalkeeper, goalie. That was not. You don't like. I've seen it. I've watched it. You can't know football and just run it back with Onana. You can't do it. I've said it on the pod. That's what they're doing. It's crazy. You don't have to spend $200 million on 3. My point is, you don't have to spend $200 million on 3 attackers, right? You could.
We did need to score goals. I mean,
you had to clip one of them, bro. You had to clip one of those attackers and get a midfielder and a keeper.
Here's the thing.
That's all you have. You can't. That's FIFA shit. You got to know what you need, and you need a goalie, dude.
Well, keepers cost you games, right? Like midfielders, we got away with it. Yeah, Ugarte had a fucking shit display when he came on, but United were still edged them. But we lost the game because Bayern had an error that we've seen from our starting goalkeeper in Onana multiple times. And that's the thing.
And we have Heaton on the bench.
We won't have the midfield to win the league, but I'm telling you, you have another like liability goalkeeper. We have 2 of them. They will drag you down to the bottom half of the table. Whereas, like, if we have a solid goalkeeper, we will definitely finish the top half. They've like right-sized the attack in a way that's meaningful. Goalie, you have a wobbly goalkeeper, bro, you're fucked. You are fucked.
This is even crazier, which is that you
get
have
They'll get
Tom
somebody in.
Heaton, who's a vibes guy.
He wasn't
who
bad in
shouldn't-
preseason. He wasn't bad.
He shouldn't ever play when you could have a young upcoming keeper there who literally probably would feature because Onana gives it away and Bayendier gives it away, and you would get to him. But instead, we have a
Yeah,
like
that kid-
almost 40-year-old vibes guy on the roster for no reason, who we actually need somebody who's capable there. It makes no.
You have that kid Viatek
it's
who's
crazy,
on loan, but
dude.
he needs full time. You need minutes when you're that
We
young.
had De Gea and Romero, arguably the
Yeah.
2 best
Yeah.
keepers in the world, and now we got this cast of characters. It's ridiculous. Like, you can't have a vibes guy taking up a roster spot.
Third goalkeeping spot is kind of a fucking
If
throwaway.
you have 2 solid
Yes,
fucking keepers in front of them,
which we do not.
But like honestly,
They're
I
gonna get a
put him
goalie
in.
in. They're getting. I guarantee they're gonna get a fucking.
Tom
goalie. They
Heaton's
have to.
name is in the presser because it's so bad. Like, it's
He's
crazy.
good. Luckhurst is fucking baiting.
He is not
baiting
good,
Amorim.
dude. He is
good. He's better than
Sir,
our other goalkeepers.
Just like I know I could beat Wild
old.
Reg Horse in a
Okay.
race. I saw one of those shots come at Tom Heaton. He was like, oh, it was like almost like,
He's
dude,
40.
he was
He's
not
fucking-
ready. Like,
he's
he
40.
doesn't have the, like, he is
I'm
not ready to
fucking
play
with
in
you.
this
I'm
league,
not saying
bro.
he's a starter.
But why are we paying him? Why is he taking up a spot? We could have like a 19-year-old keeper ready to jump on it.
Because
and
19-year-old keepers need to play every week. That's the point. Like I said, this kid Viatek.
we're not doing a good job.
on loan.
We're not doing a good
Well,
job.
it's fan questions.
Since Van der Sar, sir. It's not like we're not developing these like loads of young keepers with the loan out strategy either. You know,
When have
it's
we
like we're
ever
not, like,
effectively loaned out a goalkeeper had him come back? Like never.
we made a meal of it. We're like Henderson. We have all these things we've done.
He's
We've
doing
like
great
we've
at Palace.
yes, but we
Questions.
brought him back in the wrong timing and we got De Gea rid of him in the wrong way. It's like you can't goalkeeper. You want to win titles. You want to contend. You have to have a goalie. That's what it is. At Mike United Mets, despite the result, I think United had the performance that inspires more optimism. Cunha was unlucky not to score at least one. Arsenal seemed to have flushed some serious coin down the drain with York Reg. I anticipate a win at Fulham. Mike, get to the prediction app. Get your prediction in.
Absolutely. No, I think we gotta, but we gotta, dude. Now we gotta make it happen. We play like that every game week. We're gonna be totally fine this season. Not gonna win shit, but we're gonna do a lot better than last year. It's about consistency. We didn't have consistency last year. We haven't consistency in a long time. That's what makes great teams. We need to show that we can go down to London and fucking take it to Fulham, who are not gonna roll over.
At MMaybot13, absolutely deserved a point. Outplayed them for the entire match. Cunha and Mbeumo and Mount looked great, and Ahmad has to start over Dalot. Bummed at the result, but lots of positives. Totally agree. Other than goalkeeping, at Nolan_Taylor98, definitely deserved a point. Thought we were the better team. We're on the up and up. And at Randy Scrandy L, I like what I see from the new boys. I don't like seeing Shaw for another season. Arsenal were shite, but so was Bayendier's wrist strength regiment. Already starting on the back foot. Another loss at Old Trafford. Mixed feelings. Look, I think there's more positive than negative, but this is basically preseason 2.0. We played really well. We're fit. The lads are up for it. I actually have to say the biggest glass half full take is we know what we need.
It's obvious, and they made inroads on the attack. Obviously, we didn't score. We needed to score, but it's so clear. It's like get a goalie and get a 6. And if
Like,
you do
get
that,
a goalie.
get a goalie. I'm telling you,
Like,
you need
get
a
a goalie.
You need a goalie more than you need
Like,
a Baleba.
you need one.
Baleba can help you win shit. A goalie helps you so you don't keep losing shit. I mean, that's the thing. Is like the goalie has to be addressed, and also you can get that fucking Belgian is like 18 million pounds. He is nothing. Let's get that. You don't need to get.
I think
Eddie
we are.
Martinez.
I think we are getting that, and I think
think we
there's
should.
something behind
Something's
the
going on.
little reshuffle. That's it. That's the podcast. You like the American Red Devils? What a day! What a match! We were live on YouTube. You got to check out our YouTube channel. If you're listening on iTunes and Spotify, go over there, subscribe, like. Also, get on our MUFCpredictions.com app. Compete with the top Muppets. See if you can beat me and Alex. Currently, a lot of people are already because we predicted a win today. Also, check out our Patreon page. Support us on Patreon. Go the extra mile. Patreon.com/American Red Devils. Check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. We got new hats in stock. Grab them while they last. We got great scarves as well. tons of ways to support the podcast, sir. Give us our top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Dublin, Ireland, Charlotte, North Carolina, Brooklyn, New York, Oslo, Norway, Manchester, England, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, and last but not least, New York, New York. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do without you. Big season ahead for Manchester United and the American Devils. 2 weeks left in the transfer window. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube. Check us out on iTunes if you like the audio podcast. Write reviews. We're still giving away free merch. Send it in to americandevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll send you some free gear. We appreciate you. Big things to come. What a season. Let's fucking go. Finish the transfer window strong. They've had a very solid window thus far, but they need to go all the way. Get the fucking goalie. Get a 6th, and let's have a go, sir.